Hey everybody, my name is Pete. Welcome back to FFL TV, and today I'm going to show you how to sign up and the basics of Tinkercad. Tinkercad is a pretty easy 3D design tool, and it's kind of fun to play around with because once you've designed something, you could take it to a 3D printer and print out your design. So now is a great time to start learning and playing around with a 3D design program, and this is a great place to get started. So the first place we're going to go is to Tinkercad.com. See right up here. And you will need an account so that you can save things, but fortunately they're free. So we're going to go up here. You can go to Join Now and create your own personal account right here. And just follow the on-screen instructions. Here you can either sign up with Google, other options, sign up just with your regular email. I already have an account, so I'm just going to go to sign in here. Email. Okay, and now that we're signed in, we're just going to want to create a new design. All of this work under here, previous designs that have been made with this account. So this will be where anything you've made before and saved, this will be where it shows up. So click Create New Design. And this is our basic workspace. You can see the work plane down here is this nice blue grid. Each one of these little tiny boxes here, those are square millimeters, with these big boxes here being square centimeters. I am zooming in and out by using the wheel on the mouse, so scrolling up or down will zoom me in and out. The left mouse button is a selector, so you can see I can draw a box, and if I had some items on this plane right now, it would select those. It's also the main mouse button to adjust any of our shapes that we put in, and you'll see that a little later. The right mouse button, clicking and holding that, just kind of pans around the workspace, so it gives you the option to look in all of the dimensions of your piece. On the right hand side, down here, we'll see all of the shapes that are available to us, and these are just basic shapes here. If we had other things we wanted to look for, we could change the shapes to text and numbers, characters, different connectors, whole bunch of different things in here, but today we're just going to stay with basic shapes. These top two are actually holes that you can drop in, so square shape, box shaped holes or cylinder shaped holes, and we'll see that in just a little bit. But first, let me just work with a basic box. So to get something out onto your workspace, you just click and drag it, and then drop it down. And there, we've added one shape. It defaults to a 20 by 20 by 20 millimeter cube, and I'm just panning around so you can see all those different dimensions. And we can actually adjust the shape by using these pull boxes here. So the white squares will let you adjust 2 dimensions at one time here. So you can see I can adjust the width and length just by holding that one white square. The black squares will adjust just that one dimension. So if you're trying to get just an exact length, but the width is fine, use the black squares. This white square on top is going to adjust our height. Okay, so we can make the box taller or shorter right there. The the black arrow will actually pull the piece off of the work plane, and we'll see that in a little bit when I go to put a hole into this shape. But for right now, just know that it pulls the shape off of the work plane. Okay, so if I wanted to adjust the angle of my shape, I could use this little arrow right here. And you see if I stay on the inside of this circle, so where my mouse is now, it's on the interior of the circle, that's just making 22.5-degree snaps, turns. If I go to the outside of the circle, that's where I have the availability to do single-degree adjustments. And then if I hold down Shift, that's going to allow me to just turn in 45-degree increments here. So there's a whole bunch of different options for adjusting the angle of your shape. Now this one controls the angle on the work plane. If I wanted to adjust the vertical angle here, you see now I have a couple more dials, and the same thing happens with these except in a different plane. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to use these items I talked about earlier to put a hole into the box. So I'm going to grab a cylinder and just drag that out onto my work plane. And I'm going to use that black arrow on top of my shape to pull it off of the plane. So see, it's not touching the plane anymore. I'm just going to make it a little bit taller so that I can see what we're doing here. And move that right into the middle of the box. Okay. Now, that shape is in there, but to fully make it look like there is a hole in this box, I want to select both items at the same time and then group them together. So to do that, I have my cylinder selected. I'm going to press and hold Shift on the keyboard and then click on the box. You see now everything's highlighted. We have the box and the cylinder. So we're going to go up to here, and this little icon stands for group. So we click that, and now the items are grouped together and you can actually see the hole in the box there. If you need to adjust where that hole is, you're actually going to have to ungroup the shapes first, because right now if I tried to grab that cylinder, I can't. It treats it as one object. So right up here, this icon is ungroup. I can ungroup the objects, click off of them to deselect both of them, and now I can just use and adjust one at a time. So let's say I wanted an off-center one. Okay, that's better. Now, Shift to select both of them and group. There we have it. Okay, so those are the basics of Tinkercad. And now we're just going to do the first project that we generally have people do, which is to just create a simple keychain with their initials. So to do that, I'm going to just delete this box here. I can just click and drag over it and delete it using the delete on my keyboard. And now I'm going to scroll down my list here and use this tube object. So drag that right into here. This makes a nice ring for the keychain. And it comes out at 1 centimeter tall, but we're going to make that, it's a little tall, so we're going to bring that down to about 4. And then we can make this a little bit smaller, maybe 15. There we go. All right. So we have our ring for the keychain, and we're going to go up into basic shapes and change that to text and numbers. We're going to go find our letters. So I'm just going to make one for the library. So I'm going to need an F and an L. Now everybody knows our initials are FFL, so instead of taking 2 F's and shaping them twice, I'm just going to shape this first F and then copy and paste it. So let's do that now. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There we go. And we're going to just drop that right into the tube. So I want these two pieces to be touching, so when I group them together, it'll treat them like one shape. So F looks good, so I'm going to select it and say Control C, Control V. That gives me a copy and paste of that F. So we can now just line that up right next to the other one. I'm going to zoom in to check that connection right up here. It looks like it's touching good. So zoom back out and I'll put this L right next to the F. And you see I'm still centered over the center of the work plane, but I haven't put my piece there. So when I'm rotating around, it can be hard to see, especially if I'm zooming in. I'm zooming in on the wrong place. To change the center, I'm going to click the mouse wheel, and then I can just drag around, and that'll change the focus of the work plane. So now I can kind of zoom in nicely over here. So let's move this up to the top, right there, zoom out a little bit, and work with the L to make it nice. There we go. And I'll just check these dimensions. So 33.6, 33, close enough. Good. So there we go. I have an FFL. So let's group these together. So I just click with the left mouse in the top corner, drag over, select all of my objects at once, go up to the group, click group, and there we have a nice keychain. One option that you do have to increase some stability is you could put a bar at the bottom. I'll show you how to do it, but I'm not going to do it for this keychain because putting a bar at the bottom kind of makes the F's look like E's and then everything gets all confused. But there's no actual bar shape, but you can make your own if you just use a box. So I'll drag a box out, I'll zoom out, I'll adjust the height so that it's 4 millimeters like everything else, and then I'll just squish it up like that and then a little longer, and there we have a bar. And you can just make sure that's overlapping the bottom parts of your letters and group that in as well. And you'll have a nice bar to kind of hold everything together at the bottom if it looks all right with your letters. You could actually add a little bit extra dimension, maybe make this a little bit taller, so that if you were going to print this out, you'd have just a little ridge there, kind of add something to it. But that's totally your choice. But I'm going to delete it, and there we have a keychain. So you can give that a try. It's super easy to do. And with that, that'll complete this basic tutorial. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.